Speed it up, rookie. We don't have a lot of time. Take heading 110. In 30 kilometers, we'll hit a large village and go directly south from there.
G'day guys. A few of you may have noticed that this video is actually a replay. I have another video that details this mission, and sadly it ended in failure because I was a bit too slow. So I decided to replay it, and this is in a different update to the DCS World and UH1 Huey by Build Some Tech. So this video is not really so much about the actual mission, because I've pretty much done the whole thing in a previous video anyway. However, with the updates, there's a bit of stability which has been added in outside of translational lift, flight and hover. The aircraft's a bit more stable. That said, this video is not a very good example of particularly stable flight. As you can see, I'm trying to go as fast as I can, so I'm picking up slowly as we continue on and continually adjusting the trim. So this video for general cruising is very shaky, and you'll see that start to happen as I get up closer now towards 100 knots. The aircraft starts getting the speed wobbles, and that's probably because of the dissymmetry of lift, which means that as the retreating blade goes backwards, it has to compensate.
You got everything you need?
I've got everything, Captain. You just get me there quickly.
Alright, so you can see the shakes are coming on now as the what I assume is the dissymmetry of lift, which is the difference between the forward moving blade having to lower the angle of attack, and the retreating blade doing the opposite to give the rotor disc basically an even amount of lift as it goes around. They can only do that a certain amount, so as you get faster and faster, the difference between the retreating and the approaching blade angles, it just can't compensate anymore. And so if you go over 120 knots, you've pretty much had it. Because of the buffeting and shaking in the cab right now, you'll notice that the slipstream indicator that shows coordinated flight, there's several instances where that starts actually just wobbling all over the place, and I've got really no idea whether I'm flying straight or slewing or whatever. So it's yeah, it's not ideal, and it's probably not a very good video for showing general cruising because I'm kind of a bit all over the place. I did want to kind of highlight in this video the high angle kind of vertical approach to coming into land, because I think now more than ever it's quite a bit easier. So we'll take a look at that a little bit later on in this video. But certainly, yeah, everything is much easier than it used to be. And if you're having trouble kind of getting into a coordinated flight or cruise or yeah, anything in this aircraft, left Windows key and A will actually put on the autopilot for flat, level and constant speed for the aircraft, and it actually highlights in the axes, those axes up in the top left brought up with right control enter, it will actually highlight where the autopilot is putting them, so you can treat that as a bit of a tutorial. Engage the autopilot, put your axes in the same place that the autopilot has them, disengage the autopilot, and then continue flying. And then if you get into trouble again, just engage the autopilot and figure out what the autopilot's doing, and you can basically figure out in different circumstances what you have to do to maintain that kind of flat and level flight. Alright, so just cruising off to the valley to pick up the wounded soldier, and hopefully we'll have a look at some of the approaches to FARPs and landing zones. Alright, so as you can see, I'm over the landing zone to pick up the wounded soldier. The trick here is the vertical speed indicator. That's the most important thing. If you are in very slow or zero airspeed and you come down too quickly, you're going to get caught in a vortex ring state, and it's going to probably kill you. If you do that, you need to pitch forward, get some airspeed, get some fresh air into your rotors, and then increase collective once you've got some fresh air coming in. So you can see the vertical speed indicator, if you don't know where it is. The very right hand side of the dash, in the middle, there's a needle pointing left. Now, directly left means vertical speed of 0. If it points down, like it is very slightly right now, that means that you're going down, and if it points up, then you're going up. The numbers on there are times 100 feet per minute, so I'm keeping it right now about 1 to 200 feet per minute, and that looks really slow. And I think that's what really catches most people out, is that, you know, it doesn't look like much is happening, so they go too quickly. And if I go to that 500 feet per minute, I'm pretty nervous, because I am quite easy from that point to get into a vortex ring state. So just keep it at about 200. Yes, it will be painfully slow, but as you can see, you can come pretty much straight down over a landing zone. Notice the left rudder input and the back and left is cyclic as well, and that's important for keeping you fairly neutral. And as you can see, once you get into the ground effect, it will turn into a hovercraft and you will start sliding away. So I kind of just ram it down.
That's it, rookie. Hold it right there. So what's going on over here?
Well, you made it. He's still alive.
Let's get him in quickly. Doc, he's all yours. Doc, how is he?
Not good. I don't think we can take him back to base. He needs surgery, and we can't handle that over there.
Got it. I'll contact Madrid. Rookie, take off. Start heading home for now. Madrid, Springfield 2.
Go ahead, Springfield.
We have a patient on board in critical condition. We can't bring him back to base. He needs a hospital.
Roger, Springfield. Head this way while we try to sort something out.
Okay, so I have raced along at a buffeting speed of about 110 knots to the point where the Medevac is meeting us, and you can see that just in that vertical speed indicator, once again, I'm maintaining about 200, and I'm coming in very slowly. Now, the idea with these kinds of approaches is what's called a 0-0 approach. And what that means is that as you approach the LZ, you keep coming down, and you can see almost lose it here. Vertical speed is picking up, so I just start yo-yoing a little bit with the collective. But a 0-0 approach means that your airspeed and your altitude both slowly come down until they both reach 0 at the exact same time. So with these high approaches, it's really difficult to actually see your airspeed, so I'm keeping that down to a bare minimum and probably wafting back and forth and left and right. The easy thing with these simulators is they don't really have any kind of air control. I mean, no one assigns you an altitude and an airspeed and a heading, and then gives you an IFR approach and basically controls the airspace. So you can kind of just fly like this and make a direct approach as you see fit and use your own navigation. So it is a lot easier than it could be. If people had to fly the Huey and follow the directions of air traffic control or something like that, it would be a lot harder. So you can see there I've come down, just maintaining that airspeed. I'm not using the helipad because they said to get as close as you can, and so I'm going to basically pick it up right right down, right in front of that Black Hawk. And here we get a nice view of the Black Hawk lifting off with our patient straight through the sun visor there. And that's pretty much it. So now we can just a matter of making a quick trip home, and we can have a look at the approach there as well. Alright, so we are coming in just over the helipads that you can see at the FARP, or the UN air base, just up ahead. You can see that there is once again lots of buffeting, even though we are at a very slow speed. Now what this is kind of just hitting the tip of the translational lift. So as the rotor is moving forward, we're kind of just on that cusp of getting fresh air or getting out of fresh air, and we're being hit by our own turbulence, which is really annoying. If you are in the translational lift, then you get that nice forward flight. You can see there there's some waggling, and that's something you want to avoid with rudder input as well. So and here we are now outside the translational lift. So translational lift is basically just another way of saying fresh air into the rotors, giving you lift. And now the full weight of the helicopter is being carried by the rotor disc, and so we're having to churn air directly down. Much more power is provided or required, and that's done by increasing the collective. So if you slow down and you don't increase the collective, you'll soon find yourself plummeting and you'll wonder what went on. So you kind of have to catch it. You have to be very aware of it. So as you slow down, like we are now, you kick up the collective. And if you watch your replay, you'll see that there is a very deliberate movement on the collective. Now collective adds torque. So to counter the torque as you move out of the translational lift, you'll increase the collective to get the power on, to keep your altitude, and you'll see that you twist to the right like I did back there, and that's because of the torque from the rotor. And so that requires left pedal, which is more anti-torque. As more torque comes on, you need more anti-torque to counteract it. And now we're not shuddering because we are outside of the translational lift. And once again, I'm spending most of my time switching between that vertical speed indicator that you see there. See, it's about -1 to level, maybe 200 feet per minute. You need to go at about half the speed that you think helicopters should, and you'll have a chance. But yeah, just getting used to it, very, very slowly, just limiting the speed as much as I can. I'm actually doing quite a bit of right cyclic, and you can see where it's trimmed in. It's trimmed in back and left, and a little bit of left rudder, and just kicking in a little bit of right cyclic to get ourselves moving in on the helipad. And as we get close, I am just going to reduce the speed to 0 and reduce the altitude to 0 almost at the same time. We're on skids, and you can do a little bit of a slide as well. It's not going to hurt, and they're designed for it. And there we are. So just place the helicopter where it needs to be, and that's pretty much how you do the approach to landing back. You can see, there we are, nice and centre.